Hey everyone, welcome back to my week 4 update at Lovable shipped. This week I built out my MVP and I want you guys to check it out. So let's see. User would come in, click on get started and choose their preferred method. I want to do a Google sign in, and this is how the dashboard is going to look. Just some basic metrics of how many analysis I've done, my success rate, average time, etc. You can just come in here and create a new analysis. You see one is already running, but we'll still go in here and put in this GitHub repo, and I'll hit start analysis, and it says your new analysis has been started. So we'll just wait for 5 to 10 minutes for this to finish, and I'll be right back. Alright, so the analysis just got done a minute ago. It took around 11 minutes for the analysis to get done, and we can see that there were total 69 files, these many lines of code. The average file size was this many words. We had TypeScript 44 files, some JSON, YAML, CSS, and Markdown files. We can see the overview tab just has the basic summary. It summarizes what the project actually is. So this is just one of the trending GitHub repositories that I found. It's a Medium clone. Medium is the blog website, and this is basically an open source clone for that. And it goes over the key features, what the technology stack is used. So they're using Nitro with TypeScript and Prisma as the database. Looks like they're using OpenAPI for their API basically. All right. So this is just the summary, and then we can move to the code zones. So it classifies critical versus safe code zones, where critical zones would be like very important and very centric, dependency heavy files that import a lot of stuff and are very critical to the application. So any new person onboarding this code base wouldn't want to change the critical zones. So that's why it's good to know the critical areas of the file. So it tells you, okay, so the authentication and authorization parts are very critical. These files are marked security sensitive. Flaws in this zone could directly lead to severe security vulnerabilities, including unauthorized access and etc. So it also gives out recommendations of how you should move with these. It also gives another critical zone is core data models and validation. So all of the files under API server models, and it's saying they're critical for data integrity, and if there are any errors, it could lead to data corruption. So these are the critical zones, and these are the safe zones. So let's see, API server, utils. These are basically helper functions, and they're classified as safe zones because they're generally stateless, single, well-defined responsibilities, do not handle complex business logic. So critical safe zones, and based on that, it will give you good first issues that a newbie on the repository could be working on. So maybe improve the README, fix some sort of incorrect query. The assessment and strategies tabs are very generic ones. Next, it also maps out data flows where it will say, okay, so this is how the data is flowing, steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it also generates a sequence diagram based on the data flows. So for every flow that it identifies throughout the application, it will show how the data is actually moving. Also shows where the data gets stored. So for this one, we have the basic application database with Prisma as the ORM. And external integration, so it uses, I think so, the CodeQL API, and it uses a a GitHub action called Spammy Guardian. Next, moving on to the system architecture. So it also gives a good overview of how the system architecture of this application looks. So what happens on the client side, what happens on the server side, it gets the response, and what is it checking for, and then according to that, what is it actually referencing, basically. So good architecture diagram with an overview of what the architecture exactly is, all the different components, the key files and dependencies, and just a good view of the front end, back end database tech layers. And these are the architectural pattern that the repository follows. So if you understand these patterns, you can very easily work on the repository, because you know, okay, so it's a monorepo. So the front end and the back end are working together in this one. And it also finally writes out learning paths. So back end, business logic, front end, and deployment learning paths. So it'll tell you how you can set up the project environment, how you can set up the API, etc. So it'll take you through the entire setup process. Awesome, yeah. So that was all. That's what my MVP looks like right now. If you're watching this video, it is probably live on the URL that I'll mention in the week 4 update, as well as post it on the Circle community. Please go out there, check it out, and leave any feedback. Yeah, that's it for week 4. Thank you guys.